All right, so I'll call to order the meeting of the Airport Commission on Wednesday, December 4th at 4:02 p.m. Commissioners attending remotely, can you please acknowledge your presence?
So acknowledged.
Thank you, Jeff.
It's going to interrupt you just a second, Tim.
Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Greg Shepler, Burlington.
Thank you, Greg. So the next item is the agenda. I do have one proposed modification of the agenda. Item 4.2, the new airport position, I'd like to take off of the consent agenda and make that its own deliberative item. Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended. That's moved by Tyler. Is there a second?
Okay.
Second by Robin. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? That carries. Item 3 is public forum. Does anyone today wish to speak? Okay.
So standing, this there, this there.
Great. Thanks for coming, man. Okay. You're all set? All right.
See you with that.
And we have Michael Blood. Is that
That's town meeting.
Town meeting? Perfect. So we will close down public forum. Move on to item 4, which is the consent agenda. Do we hear a motion to approve the contents of the consent agenda? That's moved by Connor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Consent agenda. So item 4.2, which we've taken off the consent agenda and made deliberative, is the new airport position. I'd entertain a motion to recommend to the Board of Finance and City Council the approval of the addition of an airport maintenance worker 2 position as outlined in our agenda packet. Do we hear a motion to that effect? That's moved by Connor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Robin. Discussion to be led by Nick.
All right, so this is a very small change to the organizational chart, but it does require full city council authorization. What we're requesting for today is an additional maintenance worker 2 position. We have, as you can see, different pillars. If you recall the reorganization, I called those the 4 pillars of the organization. One of those pillars is the customer experience side of our maintenance team, which includes our land side division, maintaining our front lawns and our front entrance and so many other things. We previously had 2 permanent full-time regular positions. This is also an AFSCME union position. What I'm requesting today is an additional position. So going from 2 to 3 and adding that position once city council approves it. The budget is a small impact to the budget. We have open positions currently today. We also have a temporary employee that is currently employed in that particular pillar of the organizational chart. That temporary employee, after the hiring of this new position, would of course no longer be needed, that temporary position. This is taking the full-time place of that temporary position. We hired that temporary position for the very reason of why we're asking today. We realized we needed extra help in that column, and we now realize, and I now see, that we need a permanent position in that column. And that's what tonight's request is all about.
Thank you, Nick. Commissioners, any questions for Nick?
I guess the other thing is, wasn't that the state, didn't we have more than 1 person in there before?
Yeah, there was 2 positions. So this green box here, there's 2 positions, 2 land side maintenance positions, plus a working foreman. So there are technically 3 people over there, including the foreman. Now there is going to be a 3rd maintenance worker 2 position.
No, sorry. Before we reorganized, wasn't there 3?
Not that I recall. There's always 3 total people out there.
Yeah.
But that does include the working foreman. Working foreman is.
So we gave it a shot temporary. We said, yes, we need it. And now we're just making it permanent.
You got it.
I got it. Okay.
All right, Commissioners, anything else? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That carries. Move on to item 5, which is the construction update from Larry.
I have nothing to add from what I have reported and highlighted. If anybody has any questions, I'm glad to answer them.
All right, Commissioners, anything for Larry?
Just on the, just walking in, I happen to notice that you can't get from the lower level to the sidewalk. Is there signage that I blew past on the way, tells you how to walk to get around?
There
Okay,
is, yes,
all right. I was pretty sure that must be,
Yeah,
I
there's
flew past it on
a
the
couple of them.
hurry to, it's like, I got across my, I'm walking in the road now.
And within, I think 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, yeah, that is gonna be all reopened. We'll also gain our second or third, depending on where you are, vehicle drive lane back as well. That of course is all part of Project Next. We have to relocate huge transformers and generators and underground conduit. So it's about a month that we've been like that, switching over both pedestrian and vehicle lanes, but they're moving fast. They're doing an incredible amount of work, and that'll be open soon.
And they repaved it today, so the work under the ground is now done.
All right, Commissioners, anything else for Larry? All right, we will then move on to item 6, which is the noise update also.
There's a couple of highlights I'd like to report here. I know everybody's aware of what we had over the last year with the window manufacturer and then the holdup with the FAA, but as of 2 weeks ago, we have started doing houses again. There are 3 under construction, 1 totally complete, and they're jockeying around the list of the 68 homes to come. So we have a winter working plan, and we're approaching people. If they're okay with us working in winter, we'll work in their house in the winter. But we have a plan in place to make sure there's minimal impact. So that's moving forward. So that's a good thing. So the other thing is, Nick signed off today on the final NEM to be submitted to the FAA for approval, which is required to be submitted by the end of the year. So other than what I have highlighted here, that's the 2 highlights.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Larry.
Just a quick addition to the noise exposure map. So as part of that process, we of course accepted comments associated with the noise exposure map. We're compiling all of those comments, questions, requested edits if they make sense. We're compiling all of that into an Excel spreadsheet. We're answering every single comment. Those comments and answers will be part of the submittal package to the FAA. They'll also be available online if there's any questions. So you'll see every single question and answer on btvsound.com.
Yeah, and the balanced homes that we hadn't done the outreach because of the slowdown, because of the FAA making a decision on acoustical, it started back up again and moving forward. So it's, we're constructing and we're outreaching for more. So we're moving forward again.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, thank you, Larry. We'll move on to item 7, which is yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, new guy.
Yeah.
Is there some type of like stats or like map visual learner that cover? Okay.
This is why.
Well, what I did, okay, so what happened was, I was used to Hannah doing it. And so what I did in the latest one, updated to add the mapping, but we have a continuous list, larger scale, every house under construction, all the ones that are designed and moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Gladly can share any of that. So
That's great.
with all the addresses, everything, so.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, I don't know if I want the address. Thanks. I don't want the address.
That's also located online as well. There's a updated map, that one as well as kind of an overall one, which includes what is.
Yeah, just to check the website too. Thanks for.
Yeah. So the numbers, so if you look at that, here's your spreadsheet here that, it gets a little complicated because you're designing under one grant and
Yeah.
constructing under the next, So this tried to keep that straight for you, this little spreadsheet here.
All right, Commissioners, anything else for Larry? All right, move on to item 7, this is the financial update from Marie.
All right, this month you have the financial information through the month of October 31st, and you have the revenues, the expenses, our revenue recovery metrics, our banks, and our AI receivable report. The airport continues to be in line with what I anticipated. Our revenues are doing well, but kind of the strongest suits that I continue to be impressed by, I will say, is the strength of the garage revenues. They are probably the highest of anything that's maybe overachieving what I maybe hoped for. So in fact, this is through October, but in November last week, right now we're about 73 occupancy, but last week we had 100% occupancy, and it happened within a few days. So it was like everybody came to fly out. And so the airport was very, very busy, and it's a great, it's great for us, but also, we are being proactive and thinking that this will probably happen again in December. And what are we going to do to make sure that we have a couple spots that are still closed, like 100 spots are still closed for construction. So we're going to try to make sure that we manage that appropriately. So the revenues are doing really well. The landing revenues, we're seeing that start to go up. We went up about 10% in our rates. So it is doing better than last year, but the volume is better than last year, but it's more than 10% better than last year. So the volume is definitely higher. Expenses were $6.3 million. These are also higher than the prior year. So both revenues are higher and expenses are higher than the prior year.
With encumbrance.
With encumbrances. Yeah, so on the report that I provide, I have a column that has encumbrances. So if you look at the encumbrances and you look at the year-to-date totals, but the actual, what we spent so far to date, because we encumber things like property taxes that we won't expend at the end of the year, or those contracts in the garage we've expended. So we have some pretty high, we try to capture that. So we know we've obligated those accounts, and don't spend them on other things that we have them available. But our expenses are higher than last year. And the primary driver of that I see, and we are seeing some of it, I put a note here because I took a look to see what it was. We're doing some terminal lighting upgrades. So there's a contract that's kind of going on inside of here, trying to get more energy efficient fixtures in some areas that have older fixtures. Continue to finish up our lighting program in the garage, and then due to our reorganization, but also the COLAs and everything, the cost of benefits, we are seeing some increases, but that was planned on, or we budgeted appropriately for that. As of the end of October, we had $7.6 million in our primary banking account. We did not owe the city any money, so we are, we're going to see that fluctuate a little bit as we have so much activity going on out there right now. On the next project has started, and there's just a flurry on both sides. If you come over the walkway, it's pretty exciting actually to look in both directions and see all of the equipment. But it's just been, so I expect that we're going to see the next bill on that shortly. And those are coming in, and they're
Big invoices.
They're big invoices. They're multi-million dollars. So, when I get under the project bid, when I get those, we're going to have a little fluctuation, but on timing. But we also just closed out. We got the review back from the FAA on 2 grants, one in November and one that just came yesterday on 2 of the closeout grants. So those monies are coming back. We have other ones that are in progress and other ones that we're uploading. So those are sort of the highlights from this, but I will certainly entertain any of your individual questions. Exciting stuff.
I have a quick clarification question. I might have this wrong, I usually do, it's okay. But the ARPA grant says 4 years to utilize the grant. Is that from when it was first issued, or?
Yes.
I thought that we had through 2026 to use those grants, or is that?
It depends when we got them. So there were
Okay, all right,
three,
okay.
we've had 3 different stimulus packages. Column 1 was the CARES.
Right.
One was the ARPA, and one is the CRISA. It's the middle one, actually. And so we're in progress. I've got to close out on one part of the CRISA in right now.
Right.
So we're spending those down. as we needed them, but also ahead of when those end dates are. So we have 4 years from the time that we got them. And we're just we've been able to sort of manage our budget really responsibly without having to take it all at once and then charge the airlines a lot more money in the subsequent years. So sort of flowing that through and helping us with our projects.
The growth in revenue obviously has helped that too, bring back on track with our revenue sources, so. You know, we just closed out Krista and now we just closed out, Krista and
one
CARES
right.
and just finishing up on the last one with what, about $1 million once the final payment comes through. The last payment comes through.
The ARPA, we still have 2.1 available on the ARPA. So we just got a reimbursement payment from them on Friday.
Perfect, yeah.
Thank you.
Didn't we say that we were raising the rates in the parking lot? Last week, did we talk about that? Or am I listening to that song?
No, we have been discussing raising the rates in the parking lot.
Okay, but nothing has happened.
And we haven't, I don't know if you want to talk some more on that, Nick. I mean, we've done other.
So we're exploring potentially changing rates in the parking garage. Right now I want to kind of right size it, make sure our system is charging what we advertise that we're charging for. Which
Good
there's
start.
a small glitch in the system that we figured that out. I also want to look at potentially offering a 1 hour free parking addition. Right now we have
For
about
drop-offs.
for pickups and drops offs to help get folks
It's
off
great.
the curb.
Mhm.
We have about 50,000 transactions a year in $1 parkers, which equates to $50,000 a year. So it's not a huge revenue source in the grand scheme of things. And then on the same token, look at right sizing the dollar figure. I really would like to see Manchester, Albany, Portland raise their rates, and then we can come in.
Are we the same?
We're lower. Yeah.
We're lower.
Manchester, Portland, Albany are $14
They're 14.
an hour, so not much lower, but we're lower.
Yeah, I think they actually drive down here from Montreal to Park. Because it's cheaper than anywhere in the entire country.
Yeah, but not by much, not by much.
No, that country.
Gotcha. Oh,
Our northern
easily.
friend,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're like 12, are you kidding? I
Yeah.
drive to Burlington just to park.
There you go. Keep
So
that, huh?
yeah, it is a very good deal. Yeah, I wouldn't. I do think the hour free is a feel good. To a lot of people that want to drop off or say goodbye or help with grandma with the luggage and
That's right,
which takes a long time
Yeah.
in the.
that's right.
But
And-
drop off.
And not to steal away from Jeff a little bit, but we're working on a program to allow folks to go behind TSA security. So if you're able to even park for free for an hour
Right,
and enjoy with grandma,
Yeah.
behind the scenes and pick up a Vermont gift or
right.
go to a ski and pancake or something else, that's also a residual revenue
That's a
source.
great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Thought I wasn't dreaming that.
Probably looking at that in fiscal year 26, not necessarily before June of this year for a raise.
Marie, just a question for you on the GAN. So I was reading the note. Did I read it correctly that we have $1 million right now? Yeah.
We do.
You do?
I drew down for AIP 125. I'm waiting to,
Okay.
that's been with a couple of months. We submitted the closeout package in the summer. The FAA, so that was a big one for that was kind of a big one. The expenses are paid, but we are waiting for that reimbursement, which is coming.
Right.
I hope that we get that sooner than later.
He said he's finishing it up, so.
Yeah. So, but as soon as we get that, we're gonna pay again.
Yeah.
And then we won't owe anything up again
Yeah.
for a while.
So my question on that is when cash balances are really healthy, do you nonetheless draw on the GAN?
Depends. I would typically only draw on it if I knew like something with a closeout, a significant amount that it's going to take some time for us to get because it's been outstanding for quite a while.
Okay.
And that just kind of helps to even that out for us so that we're not down that money for 6-8 months or whatever, right? So I kind of look at it over the long haul, But a lot of these other ones, like when we get bills right now that we're gonna get on, this next project, I can turn around and pretty much enter that the next day into the Delphi system.
Okay.
And we can get money within, week or 10 days of that. So I don't draw on those for something that's such a short time.
Right, so like right now, we've got $7 million in cash. So you wouldn't necessarily have to submit every bill that's coming in for the GAN, because you could absorb some of that and not have to pay interest on the
Correct.
GAN.
And the way that the GAN works with us is we have a 10 million line of credit, but it's not a revolving line. of credit. So once I use that, I don't have the ability to use it later on in the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is really interesting. It used to be different, but it's been like that the last couple of years.
Okay.
Things terms have been. And it's never been an issue, it's never been a problem, we've never been close to that. But it's, it's something that I don't just go in and out.
Yeah, because that makes it more challenging if
That
it's not
we
revolving.
really have to anticipate. So I wouldn't want that.
With the project next to, when we get towards the end, there's gonna be $5 million with the FAA for a while before we close out. So that's
just that last 10%.
that last
Yeah.
10%.
So that very well may be a very good one for
Right,
me to,
exactly.
say, yeah, that's a little much for us to sit on. If I'm
Which is
sitting-
half your allotment of 10 million.
Yeah, if I'm sitting on, $250,000 in the closeout, it's not
Yeah.
material to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus.
Okay.
We've adjusted that GAN number in the past too. I think it was 7 million
Yes.
in prior years, and we've adjusted it higher. In maybe next fiscal year because of Project Next, we'll
Yeah,
probably
maybe we
reemphasize that, yeah.
And also like why it changed from revolving, like revolving seems so basic and like conceptually, that's how it should work. If you borrow, you pay back, borrow, you pay back. So,
Maybe some further discussion. I've talked to Thomas Blunt, who's our bond counsel, the past when that changed, but I would like to know that concept. It just seems like.
Yeah. all right, thank you. Right, Commissioners, anything else for Marie? Right, we'll move on to item 8, which is the director's report from Nick.
In the spirit of the holidays, I'm gonna keep it short for you.
Is that the spirit of holidays?
Yeah. That's a relative term, right? I could be wrong. Shorter is the right word for it. So real quick, I know hopefully many of you saw it, that we're able to walk in today, but here's a quick snapshot. I got this picture from one of the air traffic controllers, who of course is right next door.
I love life.
Loving life, super excited about the project, which is really, really amazing, and of course, so are we. So this was a couple of weeks ago. It looks much different out there right now. Much of that wall and concrete on the ground is completely gone. Many things that are happening, including what we just talked about, which is the relocation of electricity and generators and regulators. Very fast. Even on the right hand side behind that right hand, it's not really excavator or whatever the tool is that they have at the end. That stairwell is completely gone now. That used to be there. That is also going to be the new entrance of airport administration, as well as the new event space. That's how you would access the new space to the right there. So lots of things happening, many things not just physically happening, but Larry and the team have been really instrumental with the city of South Burlington to wrap up not just our master planning permitting process, but also our permits for this particular project next to keep moving forward in the spring. And that includes geothermal, which will start digging springtime as well. Not much upcoming events to share with you today. I do just want to, I'll probably add these normally to our agendas, but December not, that actually should read December 6th. So it's an upside down 6, will be Board of Finance, and December 12th will be City Council. What you approve tonight for that new position will be at those Board of Finance and City Council.
Right.
December 9th, right?
Oh, sorry, December 9th. Okay, right.
It's the
Is the 12th here?
It's the 9th. The 9th.
I'm totally messed up.
by marketing, just saying.
The 9th and the 16th. All right, my mistake. 9th and the 16th. I'm gonna blame the PDF conversion because this definitely isn't what I wrote on the next line, which is a request to change
never.
to 2026. So obviously January 1st is the first Wednesday of January, and obviously you'll talk about that at the end of the meeting, but a request to change to January 8th is what that was supposed to say, which is the following Wednesday, I believe.
I believe.
Yes, it's a Wednesday.
Still some upcoming items. There's actually not much changes here from what I shared with you at the last meeting. We are bringing forward an ordinance change to allow ambassadors to write parking tickets associated with the curb, so we can monitor and manage that much better. We have a couple of tenant negotiations that were occurring, including additional concessionaire as well as through the Transportation Security Administration and some office space for TSA. In future meetings, I also have some scheduled visitors to come join this table. The TSA, relatively new, he's been here about 2 years, so relatively new. But the TSA Federal Security Director for the state of Vermont, him and I meet bi-weekly, and I asked him to join to showcase some of the projects that he's working on and some of the statistics that he has and his team is working through our brand new security checkpoint. Also working with Pratt & Whitney to come and share how much they're expanding, which we recently learned that not only, I think I've said in the past, they're the biggest on the East Coast for a engine repair station, jet engine repair station. They are the biggest in the country at this site in Burlington for Pratt & Whitney Canada company. So they're going to be joining us probably in the February, March time frame. A little bit of statistics for you here with some updated numbers. So we have one more month to go. We are projecting a total of 850,000 scheduled seats for the entire calendar year 2024. That's just a little bit shy of 2019, much shy of 2008, which was over 1 million. But that box on the lower right-hand corner does indicate a much lower load factor when we had that higher seating capacity. So we're looking at really, really strong projections. In addition, I wanted to showcase, it doesn't really show you visually as nicely as the seats in the passenger chart, but this one shows a line graph of departures for air carriers out of this airport. Yellow line, or that top line, is our 2019 scheduled departures out of BTV. The green line, the solid green line there, that is our current year with a little bit of projection at the tail end there for December. So you can see we're somewhat hitting the 2019 numbers, yet we're really hitting the 2019 numbers and beyond with passengers. This is really showcasing both 2008, our highest year ever at the airport, 2019, our second highest year that we've had at the airport, and the green line, with the solid green line, which is our 2024 actual passenger departures, which are clearly the highest of both 2008 and 2019 for both September, which I shared with you last month, and now October, which is significantly higher than we've ever seen, including 2000.
And maybe ever, because I don't see any other number.
So that's right,
Higher than
2008
76,000.
is the highest that you'll see on the map there.
No, but I mean, not only any
Oh, he's doing it.
any month, 76,000 is the highest number on that whole grid. So it's the busiest month.
For this year, yeah.
Passenger
Correct.
count. Can you
Not
go back
in
to the
any year,
last
any month.
slide?
No?
Not any year, any month, because
No.
back in 2008, you can see in
It was
July.
Oh, yeah.
From
It's
this chart,
got it.
from this chart.
No, what was the, can you go to the slide previously? Scheduled departures projection. Okay, right, so
Yeah,
so the difference is you got bigger airplanes, more people.
That's right. That's a
Okay,
major
I got you.
indication of less flights, more passengers on those
Right,
flights.
bigger.
And the higher load factors on those larger
Yeah.
flights.
Yeah.
So all correlated together of high scheduled seats, slightly less departures yet on larger aircraft, and those aircraft are fuller, which is contributing to a projection for the end of the year of about 690,000 passengers. I did project around 700, 705, which I'm still hopeful for December because it does kind of spike up a little bit. But right now we're looking at 690, 695 for the 2024 calendar year. The good part is the fiscal year, starting July of this year and working towards next June, looks really, really strong, especially with the strongest September and October that we've seen in many, many, many years, if not in history.
Well, and it's super interesting because your 23 is going to reflect your loss of JetBlue.
Just
Right.
That's right.
23, 24. And so
Yeah,
you're.
January.
Right, but it's in between, right? Because it's fiscal. So if you're still high for 24, that's still half of that is a loss of JetBlue and a recovery.
And a very fast recovery, and
Yeah.
you can see that, you're exactly right, Robin, you can see that with the difference of the blue and the
The light
green
blue,
line
yeah.
for the first quarter of 2024.
Yeah.
That, you know, there's some spacing, and then you can quickly see the recovery when Breeze started their flights end of January and additional flights in March and the rest.
Well, then you also get Delta and American bringing in like 737s. So once they started doing that instead of their teeny CRJs, we got almost 50% more passenger count for those companies.
That's right.
More people can get to New York. Woo-hoo.
That's the biggest push right now is additional New York capacity.
I know.
So I said relatively short. This is of course last meeting, so.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can answer this, but just going back to the construction for a second. With the proximity to air traffic control and that we're working on electricity, how are we protecting the tower from losing it?
Yeah, so
That'd be
their electrical components are close, but they're on the other side of the building or the back half of the building. We went in fast and loud and then really quick. There was some couple of days of not interruption, but removing concrete that causes a lot of noise. Other than that,
It was
everything
just
else
noise.
is.
It wasn't no
Noise
clicking
and
on our
vibration.
systems. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing down with their systems. They have their own backup systems and generators and conduit that goes to the backside of their building versus what we're moving and where our electricity is coming from.
Nice.
Yep.
We don't have
I think
Actually, I love it.
one of the reasons I think air traffic controllers are really gonna enjoy this is the fence really does now connect to our building, so air traffic controllers will be able to come into our building a little bit easier and enjoy maybe a snack or.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize that. Okay. We're gonna feed the controllers again.
That's right, yeah. That's all I have for you tonight.
All right, Commissioners, anything for Nick?
Just a thank you from the college for hosting us again tomorrow for Professional Pilot Mock Interview Day.
Yeah, that's great.
It's a super big deal. Like all the seniors come in and they do their airline interviews and community partners and people from. We have alums coming in that are flying for Delta, Chief Pilot for Republic. Evie, your former intern, is a Chief Pilot for Republic Airways
Oh, cool.
and a captain, and
No
she
way.
will be doing interviews tomorrow. So
Cool.
you should say
It's amazing, yeah.
Elizabeth Helen. She was an intern in 2018, I think. Yeah, now she's Chief Pilot Republic Airways.
That is amazing.
I know, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and another one of them, Eli, is a Delta pilot, and he's gonna be interviewing for Delta. And JetBlue captain will be here, and Heritage Kiki's chief pilot will be here to interview for corporate pilots. So
Very cool.
hopefully, if we don't have a significant weather event, hopefully we're just starting just a little bit weather event.
That's right.
But anyway, thank you
Got a
for
couple
hosting
inches,
us.
right?
Yeah,
It's really cool.
4 or 5 maybe. At the end of the 2 days.
Just
There you go.
wind event.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Move on to item 9, which is Commissioner items. Any items Commissioners wish to discuss at this time? Seeing none, move on to item 10, follow-up items, or any items that Commissioners would like airport staff to follow up on? Cool. Item 11 is adjournment. Again, the next meeting is supposed to be January 8th.
We have to set an alternative.
This is pretty good. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
It's moved by Robin. Is there a second? And seconded by Connor. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
See any opposed? So we are adjourned.
Excellent. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.